was a provider. Wow, this YouTube live stream is gonna be butchered. All right, can y'all see me? Okay. All right, if y'all are tuning into the video or tuning into the live stream, this is now the new beginning of the stream, the new beginning of the video, new beginning of all this. How y'all doing? My name's HMK. This is ZeldaMaster Luke. Welcome to the fifth dimension. We're talking Tears of the Kingdom. We're doing it live. God. All right, so where were we? There you go. Favorite fusion combination. Go. I'm gonna let you talk while I figure out this nonsense.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
With Fuse in particular, I would say I'm really excited to kind of put like the sword and shield as we saw from the trailer. To me, that looks absolutely hilarious. But I'm also excited to do like dumb things. Like I've seen someone literally fuse a TNT barrel onto the shield.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, so you could go in like a suicide bomber. Like, yo, if you get hit, everyone's getting hit.
Oh yeah, no, everyone but you. Like, apparently you were able to shield, like, that was so funny. Like, when you're able to glue, like, a bomb barrel or a bomb to your shield, if you block, you'll be fine. Everyone else isn't.
Yeah, but that's only when Link has the shield out and he's using it to block. I bet you if you get hit from the back or you touch fire while it's just, like, on your back.
It's over, yeah.
Yeah, you're exploding. It's kind of like a makeshift bomb mask from Majora's Mask.
A lot of people's been saying that, and I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I do think that's really cool. So I'm excited for the silly things more so than, being a badass or anything.
Right.
Same goes for Ultra Hand. Like, I'm going to build some insane creations. I really hope, though, we can already predict that it's not going to have any online features because the box art doesn't mention anything. But, like, if it had something as simple as uploading your creations...
Something tells me that we might get that. We still might get that in, like, an update or something.
That'd be so dope. I really do hope so, because it is just a shame. Like, Nintendo did give us a glimpse, like a taste of that in no, it didn't. It wasn't online base. But in Link's Awakening for the Switch, you could make a dungeon and then download it onto your amiibo, and it's like, why amiibo? Dude, I'm not gonna meet anybody with my freaking Link's Awakening amiibo and give it to them. That's so complicated. Just let us upload it online.
I feel that.
More people to subscribe to it. Let's say people don't want the other services Nintendo Switch Online provides. Okay, that alone will make a lot of people subscribe who are only in it for Zelda.
Yeah, and even with the creations that we've seen in the gameplay previews in that final trailer, which we're gonna dial back to the final trailer, there's still stuff we haven't seen. There's still stuff we've seen, but we don't know, like, the intricacies of it, because we saw that spinning laser deal. Like, imagine something like putting something like that on top of a flying machine at the bottom. Like, you make yourself imagine making like a UFO type deal. We have 4 fans in each corner, and you're steering off. But then you glue to the bottom that laser deal, so you're just like firing lasers as you fly over like camps of like bokoblins and moblins and stuff. I'm like, ooh, or not even that, just flamethrowers in the bottom, just like rain fire on them as you fly over them.
Yeah, that would be so funny. I can't wait to see people's creations. It's gonna be like just endless clips online where we're gonna see the most bizarre things. And to me, that was like one of the highlights of Breath of the Wild when it first came out. Nintendo's so smart for having the Switch record 30 seconds, playback, and you're able to upload it straight to social media, because it literally just makes that everyone can kind of share together their experience instead of like everyone needs a capture card or go out of their way to upload it. This just makes it so convenient for everybody.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'm expecting like social media to blow up with people's creative Tears of the Kingdom.
It's gonna be the next cultural reset. Like, Breath of the Wild changed the game so much when it comes to like open world, open air adventure, but Tears of the Kingdom is just gonna take it to the next level and beyond that. Really.
Open worlds open worlds immediately started copying the open air concept Breath of the Wild did, and now they're gonna be like, okay, you know what, crafting should also be in open world games, and we're gonna get that implemented as well. Because Zelda is definitely leading the way when it comes to how to make an actual open world fantasy game easily.
Man,
and they've always been doing that. Ocarina of Time is a great example. Till today, there are games that are inspired by Ocarina of Time.
Yep. And it's crazy because, like, Rare and the Banjo-Kazooie team must be molding seeing everyone getting hyped over this. It's like, we did Nuts and Bolts so long ago. We did this. Like,
See, I've played Nuts and Bolts. It is so boring to build in that game. You have to go to the workshop. You have to have blueprints. You have to do all of this. It's not fun. It is not, and it's complicated. The way Nintendo does it is just put something next to it and it glues together. Snap, you're done. Like, Nintendo found a way to actually make it fun and simple for literally anybody to pick up.
Exactly. And then it's like you're not barred by the need of recipes or like schematics or anything like that. No, you see something, Ultra Hand, stick it to something else, you're ready, you're on your way. You're on your way. Man. But going off of, we were talking about Fusion, we talked about Ultra Hand a little bit. Are you any bit hyped for Ascend? Because I feel like Ascend has a lot of uses that we're not seeing.
I want to see what happens if I go up a Hinox's butt. Like,
okay, all right, Ant-Man Thanos. Like, what? Nah, but I'm pretty sure you can't ascend through living beings.
Yeah,
or for the most part. Maybe you can. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure they. I saw something that I believe like it triggered, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, who knows? I feel like, but I might be misremembering. But regardless, we're gonna test it out, and we're gonna figure out.
Oh yeah,
what comes out.
Man. But what's like for me, Ascend, like it's really cool in terms of like finally expediting, you know, travel upwards in terms of mountains, caves, or anything like that. And it just really makes me wonder, like, yo. Of course, like we've seen in the gameplay previews, that stamina, just like hearts, and now even battery life for your Zonai charge is going to be upgradable, right? But after looking at Ascend, I'm like, okay, I understand, like for slopes, it's not going to work, but I mean, like, am I going to really need to upgrade my stamina wheel at this point? I mean, I'm gonna, but I mean, like...
everything will have a platform right above you. Some might just be slopes that you actually have to climb up, so...
right.
I'm sure it will still come in handy. And I do wonder if Ascend will actually let you go underwater, because there is a small snippet in the gameplay Aonuma shows us, and you see when Link dives in the water, it immediately flashes the Ascend icon for like a brief moment. So maybe we can dive underwater, or what if that is how you get to the underground portion? If you like, nah, I doubt it. That'd be kind of complex, but. We'll see. I
was thinking that like there are going to be underwater portions to the degree where like kind of like the bubble section in the final trailer, where we're able to go to water that is above us, and then while we're in the deepest part of the water, we can use Ascend to like easily get back to the surface. Yeah, you know, without going through like the whole stamina or oxygen bullshit. But honestly, like with Ascend, Fusion, Ultra Hand, and now that we talk about the 3 other powers, now let's talk about Recall.
Oh,
how we feel about Recall?
Well, Recall might be probably the most important one, because we don't see it only in gameplay, we see it in like story elements.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm definitely wondering, like, is Link actually going to restore the Master Sword with it, or does Zelda use it when she's falling? Because we see that same, like, you know, goldish light emit from her hand.
Yep. So. And a lot of people think that that ability and Zelda herself are going to be tied to the aspects of possibly time travel, or at least going back to a certain specific point in time. And we see that the tear in her hand is like a symbol, like if not the same symbol, a symbol similar to Recall on Link's arm. So I want to, like, you know, go off that a little bit. Do you believe that we're going to get time travel, or any type of like different time, like points in time that Zelda's going to be in, or will be able to travel to? What do you think?
I strongly believe it, because when we see the Zonai, you know, dressed woman that, you know, people like to think it might be Zelda or Hylia, along with the, because I'm pretty sure you've also mentioned it before, you know, that screenshot from a Japanese download card. You can see the face of the person who's in the tapestry. So clearly those people aren't from Hyrule's time. Like, they must have been from the past when the Zonai was still a civilization that existed and they weren't ancient and forgotten. So I feel like if Zelda literally meets one of them, because, you know, the guy does put his arm on Zelda's shoulder, then she must have went back in time.
Right.
You know? To me, that makes the most sense. But I don't believe Zelda will be playable. And I believe it will kind of play out kind of like the memories where, yeah, we got to see a glimpse of the past, but it was only through visions and memories and cutscenes. It will never be like Link is literally going to go back to the past. I would love for that, but I doubt Nintendo's actually going to separate Hyrule into two. It might just all be through Zelda's perspective.
From people who I've been talking to, they've been saying things along the line of like contained places to go in the past, kind of like how we did it in Skyward Sword, in Twilight Princess. Yeah, something like that. I would love that entirely.
You know what? You might be right because and this actually made me wonder, and I guess right now I finally put it together. It's like when you see Link in the final trailer stand in Hyrule Castle's main area,
yep.
It's still fixed. It's completely fine before Calamity Ganon destroyed it, or before even the final battle against Calamity Ganon.
Yeah, and no amount of time after that is gonna fix it that much. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you know what? You might be right, and that's why that small clip was the only one that seemed slightly grayed out.
Yeah, and then you see the light and flashing around it, because he's like back in the past, either like physically or metaphorically or spiritually or something like that. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be it.
Now, before we get back into the story element, because now we're gonna go nutty with the story in a little bit. How do you feel that? Because I haven't spoken to you since the actual full revelation. How do you feel about finally the Zonai? It's real. It's real. How do you that? Man,
no longer are Zelda fans digging too deep or anything. It's it's been it was apparent from the very first trailer.
The architecture.
Yeah, because the architecture, and it was so why are we seeing so much of this, and why are the Zonai ruins a thing that isn't mentioned throughout the game? Clearly, Nintendo wants to expand on it, so it is nice, but it's crazy how much Nintendo was going to rely on the Zonai to lead the next game. That's what surprises me most. It's they could have given us a little more clues. It's weird how they put out Breath of the Wild, then they were all right, now let's focus on this thing that we didn't give enough attention and make this kind of the main focus of the game. So it is nice, but I wonder how Nintendo is going to really incorporate it into the game's history and explain why we missed out, and why they're even forgotten. Why is it the Zonai ruins? What happened to them if they were so ahead? We know what happened to the Sheikah. The king of Hyrule from 10,000 years ago hated that technology and banished it. So what's the Zonai's reason?
Exactly. There's gonna be so much interesting lore when it comes to the revelation of Zonai, and especially the fact that the Zonai is somehow, some way connected to Ganondorf. They're the ones responsible for putting him in suspended animation, right?
Oh yeah. True.
So that whole connection is where has the Zonai been? And also they're the ones responsible for keeping Ganondorf at bay this whole time. And where has he been? How did that get to that? And the fact that Ganondorf is back and he's talking, he's cognitive, just it's gonna be so much of a lore dump. Now, when it comes to the Zonai and that mysterious, dragon goat looking being, a lot of people have been theorizing, and I see for good reason, that this character may be connected, may prove there's a connection between that of the Zonai tribe and the essence of courage. The Sheikah tribe will obviously be connected to the aspect of wisdom and the goddess Hylia, whatnot, and then maybe people insinuate, the demon tribe or Ganondorf or Demise is connected to power, because that's the element or the virtue that they represent most. The biggest thing from the final trailer is seeing one of those dragon-like beings, obviously they're fighting against Ganondorf or some sort of mouse being, where they're completely covered in dark soot. There's flickers of malice in the air, but in the background you see two unknown individuals holding Revali's and Urbosa's weapon that are also that has a tear attached to them, right? So I'm yo, how deep does the rabbit hole go when it comes to the connections of the Zonai, Hyrule, the old champions, the champions before champions? What is going on? And I feel we are gonna get a good dive into who the champions before the champions, or the original champions, or the champions before that are going to be, because the Italian voice actor for Daruk let slip that I also voiced Daruk's ancestor, right? And for the longest, people were that could mean anything. But now that we saw that one frame from the last trailer, I'm ooh, that could mean something crazy. Right,
that would actually be really cool to see. I didn't even think of that. We might actually, maybe you think of the one in the tapestry and the Sheikah one. Those are the ones we're going to see literally from 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, but then that also tells me that the tapestry might be a lie. Yeah,
exactly, because it's not based off of the. Well, I mean, if it's Daruk's ancestor, it might be based off of the 4 tribes, but
right. No, definitely the 4 tribes, but instead of fighting Calamity Ganon, they actually fought Ganondorf, like actually Ganondorf. But then they like, I guess throughout, like how people say through a game of telephone, something like a phrase or a legend gets muddied over time, and that.
How do they predict it? That would be weird, actually, when you do think about it, because if then it becomes Ganondorf, it's like, then why was it Calamity Ganon? Why do they only know of Calamity Ganon at that point in time?
Exactly. But in that sense, let's talk about the story a little bit more. Let's talk about Ganondorf a little bit more. So, do you think? And I am 100% once again. I'm still in the camp for Child Timeline. But do you think this Ganondorf, and I feel it's heavily implied because a King's Revival, do you think this Ganondorf is indeed the same as a previous Ganondorf that we've seen in the timeline?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Why would there be a new one? Like, Ganondorf never was able to actually pass on. His body always remained. So even when he was, cast into the the Sacred Realm or whatever up until he left, in Twilight Princess. So the dude can't really die because he's forever cursed to plague Hyrule.
Exactly. So in that sense, what camp do you sit in terms of timelines? Because a lot of people's like, oh, it's at the end of all 3. Oh, it's gonna be a convergence. I'm like, no.
It's at the end of all 3. I'm pretty sure Nintendo wants to. I think that's the whole point of Breath of the Wild. They were like,
it's not a reset, bro.
No, it's not a reset. It's like, okay, no. See, I've been saying this for a while, but Nintendo has complicated the Zelda timeline enough, so they're like, you know what? We're gonna push this game and give it a 10,000-year gap before its events, let alone any other Zelda game, to where every Zelda game in the past is just a legend. Literally,
I get that. I do get that.
So that means everything has happened. Just no one knows how, what, or how it split or anything. It's like Breath of the Wild does connect them all. Plus, Zelda literally says, I believe in one of the first memory, she mentions all the heroes, and it ends up kind of connecting all the timelines. If they all existed and all did something, that means it must have happened.
Nah, but that's the thing. They were legends, so we don't know which one is true or not. And Ganondorf is gonna tell us the truth. I'm tired of playing this. Nintendo, look at me. I'm tired of playing this dartboard game. I'm really tired. I need confirmation. And they know, Luke, they said it in creating a champion. Aoji Aonuma went on record saying that, I know what timeline it takes place in, but you know what? It's funner for people to speculate and theorize.
Yeah.
Okay, that worked for 6 years. It's over. It's time. Tell me where it takes place.
They just it'd have to be the Twilight Princess era, the child timeline. I feel like it wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Oh yeah, 100%. I do see a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? I see a bit of proof in terms of the downfall timeline, but the adult timeline, absolutely 100% no. Right? No way in the adult timeline. But the downfall of child timeline, that's the one that's teetering.
Ganon's statue in the adult timeline, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
The Master Sword is a part of it. It's deep underwater.
Yeah, and Hyrule's gone. The Triforce is gone. Everything's gone.
Really new Hyrule connected with Spirit Tracks. It's completely different. You're right.
Yeah, but then people are like, what if the water recedes? I'm like, that's not how it works. And it wouldn't recede because that's the point of the final wish from King Hyrule. It's like, wash it away. It's done. It's gone. No more. So
but that's... It makes the most sense if they can just combine it all. Let's let every legend be real. Let's let all the fans, be happy. Don't, limit it.
No, I wouldn't be happy. I'll be unhappy.
Why?
Why? Because
that makes no sense anyway.
Nah, there's rules, and these rules have rules, and these rules need to be observed.
Yeah.
But in that sense, how are you feeling on Ganondorf's design?
Best design easily. He's a hunk. He looks great. I don't really like the green skin, but I guess the dude's been alive for millennia, so it's like, I guess it makes sense. Maybe he lost his tan. He became green.
Is that
he looks badass. Like the bun, the
top
sword.
knot. It's a top knot.
Top knot, whatever. That whole style, he looks really cool. And overall, all the other Ganons never really looked that good. I didn't really like the mullet look that he had in Ocarina of Time, and obviously in Wind Waker he was kind of chubby, so
he was big, he was wide.
Yeah, so the best we had was Twilight Princess, and even then he kind of just looked a bit old. I feel like he looks much better and somewhat younger in Tears of the Kingdom.
Nah, man, he's got that gigantic laugh line, so he must be doing a lot of laughing, and he got those massive crow's feet, man.
Yeah,
so,
but you know what I'm saying? He's actually like that body, like his body ain't looking like.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. He looking pristine. Man, all Nintendo needed to do was take his shirt off, and I'm like, let's go. Man, let's go. Right. So I'm definitely digging the whole like samurai aspect, the fact that he's wielding a katana this time around. And I really hope that he fights kind of like Virgil from Devil May Cry, where he does like the sheet style, the swift sheet style, where it's just like he takes the blade out, does some things, put the blades back in. Oh man.
Or get cut in half.
Oh yeah. He just looks at you and then you're in pieces the next moment.
Yeah.
But in that sense, there has been like a lot of talk when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom and its supposed return to formula, the Zelda formula, in certain degrees. Obviously, this is indeed the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and it's introducing a lot more aspects all its own, including that Fuse, Ascend, Build, Ultra Hand, all that good jazz. It's really, going on with its own identity, but it's bringing back elements from previous Zelda games that were missing from Breath of the Wild, such as what is heavily insinuated to be traditional dungeons, varied bosses, and like all that stuff. So how do you feel? Let's talk about the bosses from what we've seen. We've seen Nikljj, we've seen this gigantic ice demon-looking boss up in the air. It was not a giant Zonai creation that kind of looks like Gadon, like along the lines of Gadon coming out of the wall and whatnot. How are you feeling on everything in terms of like those bosses from the final trailer?
Yeah, I'm really happy because I mean, obviously, Breath of the Wild didn't really deliver when it came to dungeon bosses. Don't get me wrong, I did like the overworld bosses. The Lionel was probably the coolest thing, but they didn't really feel like true bosses. And the Lionel was like the strongest overworld boss, but didn't have a HP bar above the screen, on the HUD.
Yeah.
So it just didn't seem like that. But it does seem like, yeah, we're getting tons. Nikljj though looks like an overworld boss. I'm assuming. Dude, what I'm afraid is they're all going to be overworld bosses. I don't think Nintendo has shown any dungeon bosses. Even the one with Tulin.
I think that's a dungeon boss, honestly.
It could be, but they're in the giant storm that's happening in Hebra, and that looks like more of an overworld section. But maybe overworld sections will be considered
dungeons. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That specific like area where the tornado is, I think will be considered a dungeon, even though it's outside. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, Eagle Tower. Like, come on. Like,
yep. Yeah, no, we had even in older, we had plenty like that. Eagle Tower, City in the Sky.
Oh yeah,
plenty. That's true. So no, I'm excited already from the little few bosses they've shown. It's gonna be way better than what we got in Breath of the Wild, and they all look menacing and unique enough. So I'm super hyped. I can't wait to see what lies in Death Mountain. I kind of hope we've seen Link fight Gorons, or at least like it looked like a Goron rolling into Link.
It was definitely a Goron, but I think that was like training.
Maybe, right?
Yeah, because like in that shot,
have a corrupt one,
right?
Kind of like Princess.
Oh yeah, like a Fyrus. But I think that one was more training because in one shot you see two Goron children just like cheer on like Link while that's happening, right? And that kind of looked like a training pit to me. So
I see.
Yeah, man. But with that sense, like I like how you brought up Death Mountain with the mouse spewing out of Death Mountain. I'm like, yo, I want to know what they're like. Is Goron City gonna be chilling while that's happening? I mean, like, look at that. I mean, like, that looks very vile. But in that sense, let's talk about Underground.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Like, you played Elden Ring, right?
I was literally, that was actually what I was thinking of before you said it. I was going to compare it to Elden Ring, yes.
Oh my god. Like, and the Underground in Elden Ring is amazing. And
it was like, like you didn't expect it, and when you found it, you're like, bro, this is not real. This is insane. They really
exactly. Like, there's another game. Like, it was the game that kept giving. Like, bro, Elden Ring, ladies and gentlemen, this is banned for your buck. If you haven't played this game, go do yourself a do yourself a favor before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. Go play this game.
It's getting DLC.
So. I know. Oh, the DLC. I can't wait for the DLC. But in the sense of the underground and Elden Ring, it was just a whole other map. And I'm like, no, they can't do this. This like the map is gigantic. It keeps getting bigger, and then you go underground, and it's huge as fuck. And I'm like, yo, this is the game that just keeps on giving. This is crazy.
Yep.
Right?
So I have a feeling that Nintendo is going to try to pull that punch as well. Because let's be honest, when they did advertise Elden Ring, they didn't really mention
None of it. None of it.
They wanted it to be a surprise for the players. So it's like, I bet you Nintendo has the exact same cooking up. They're like, yo, we got the sky. Look, so much more. But it's like, we've shown you small glimpses. You have no idea what's in store. And I bet you there's going to be so many sections, because I think the whole idea of revisiting Hyrule's surface, with it being in the future, even if it's just a couple of years and everything being altered, we're going to see so many areas that have been completely destroyed, or how we can see the islands in the sky. So they must have left gaps into Hyrule, and where there's just giant empty areas, and that will probably take you underground. So I'm really excited to see what that will actually lead to.
Exactly, right? Because from what we've seen with the underground, because the underground has been insinuated ever since the first trailer, right?
Yep.
And the underground, in the final trailer, it made me such a big believer. Because I mean, in the trailer before the final trailer, we saw caves, like specific segmented portions of underground, which will be caves. Nintendo has confirmed that there will be caves, right? And I feel like they're going to function very similar to grottos in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But with this new trailer and with the information that Nintendo has put on their site, they said, not only you'll be able to explore the surface and the sky, but you'll also be able to explore caves, which I feel are the small compartmentalized parts within that of mountains or underground, and chasms. And I'm like, the fact that they, put chasms and caves like apart from each other, I like the big expansive underground area is going to be the caves. And we've seen that in the final trailer with Link, which I believe is under Death Mountain. And then, and that looked like, and there was like a big building structure looking thing, and I'm like, that looks like kind of like a dungeon, right? And in one of the most recent ads where it shows Link underground, where it's completely dark, and in order to illuminate the way, you have to use like light up bulbs or plants that are that you fuse to your arrows and you light up onto the wall or whatnot. It was gigantic. It was so expansive, and it was dark. And people were like, oh, that could be a cave. Nah, if you look at the coordinates, the Z-axis was -400. So we were deep. To give you context, Mr. Aonuma, when he first did his gameplay and went to the first island he went up plus 500. So that first island he went to go up into the air using recall, that was plus 500. Imagine, and considering how deep -400 is, almost -500, that's going to be, ooh, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down.
Body rotting,
man.
Where he died.
It's gonna be crazy how whatchamacallit. Because I want to know. That's like, here's something that I tweeted out not too long ago. Where, yo, Luke, I feel we're gonna get a massive story dump, like a massive lore dump in the beginning of the game, because Link has to get the Master Sword back from Korok Forest. Him and Zelda go down into the underground. Zelda somehow gets a tear during or before all that. Link and Zelda find Ganondorf's corpse. His corpse activates, fucks up Link's arm, fucks up the Master Sword. Zelda is gone. Then causes the upheaval that makes all the islands either go into the air or come down. He starts empowering his servants using the mouse and the blood moon, like the red furious blood moon, and then Link wakes up in the sky in order to start the game. That's like I feel that we're gonna get like an hour-long cutscene before the game starts.
Yeah, this will have a much slower start probably than Breath of the Wild, and it makes sense. It's a sequel; they got to set it up. Why are we continuing our adventure? So I'm definitely expecting literally that. I wonder if it's gonna time skip from the beginning, or does the time skip happen after Link and Zelda split up? Because I don't know, like. The whole argument of is Link's hair longer or is it just down? I still don't know.
Right? I think his hair isn't longer; it's down. But he just kept cutting it. He kept his hair. You know what I mean? He kept cutting it to that degree in order to tie it up into a bunch.
Did you see it that long in the
ancient armor? Yeah.
Yeah. And all the Divine Beast helms, they literally just has his hair go all the way down to his shoulders. So
exactly,
maybe his hair is naturally that long. Maybe we learn. Maybe Pura made a hair tie that like can shrink your hair.
That'd be funny. But I honestly think that he just kept his hair at that length. He kept cutting it because I do think there's going to be a time skip, like 100% between that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like a 2 or 3 years time skip, because we see Tulin and Riju grow up a little bit, right?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
like there's going to be a time skip, and especially
He probably kicks the bucket.
who Teba?
No, the King of Zora probably kicks the bucket.
Oh, Dorfan? I don't think so, because I feel that like he's probably gonna kick the bucket in the game, because at one point in the trailer we see Sidon without the crown, and then we see him with the crown.
That's what I'm saying. So I something might happen to Zora's domain. I'm not thinking like he dies in the beginning of the game. I'm assuming he will die later, because Sidon isn't wearing the crown at first. He gets it much later in the game, because I bet you that last clip where they all have their tier must be much further in the game, or a lot of stuff. Yeah,
man. But in that sense, you know, something that was really interesting that was brought up to me in a previous stream said that aside from, like, since we're talking about Sidon, Riju, Tulin, and the fact that we might have like a partner system in Tears of the Kingdom, is that in the game there's going to be the main story, like find Zelda, stop Ganondorf, win, right? But then there's also going to be side-specific stories, like self-contained stories with each of the new champions when you tackle a dungeon that requires like their help. And then when you defeat each dungeon, you get more context to their own individual story, how they become champion, how they truly rise as champion. And then each dungeon, when you beat it, you find one of the tiers, and then they gain that tier in order to help the fight. And then the more side stories that you do for that, the more homies will show up in the final battle. And I think that's what's going to go down. And with Sidon's story specifically, it's going to show him like helping Link, and then at the end of the story he gets the tier, and then also it becomes like he gets crowned king at the end of his own story. So I think that's all that's gonna go down. And man, I need this game now. I'm sorry.
What about Yunobo?
He's dead. I think something's happening with him, something very important that Nintendo doesn't really want to talk about. And like it's funny because everyone's like, where's Yunobo? I'm like, yo, where's Teba? Where's Tulin's dad? Where's Teba? What happened to him?
Yeah, but he's been clearly replaced. We haven't seen a Goron replacement yet. So it's like, I understand why people are more curious about Yunobo than Teba, because Teba is like, okay, you know, his son is doing his part. You know, where's the Goron champion?
There's gonna be one, because in one frame we see.
I know you see the boulder breaker.
The boulder breaker, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, it's still weird though, because it's like, you know, Nintendo why wouldn't they showcase, at least like in also promotional artwork, why wouldn't they show us all 4 new champions?
Right.
Why would they specifically only show 3 and then just kind of be silent about the 4th? Something deep must have happened to the dude.
Exactly, and I feel something deep happened to like all of Goron kind, because I mean Death Mountain, like look at it, right? So like there's no way they can stay safely in Goron City, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think some
could have just got a crazy glow up, and they just don't want to show it, because everyone else, like, you know, Riju got a haircut. That's not really that insane, but like,
but Tulin got big, like
true. But they were like so young to begin with, so seeing them like, you know, that middle age, it's like it doesn't look that insane. I would say though, if Yunobo got a beard and maybe like a scar, or just like
that'll be raw.
Yeah, so like I'm hoping that's the case.
Yep.
Because he was easily the worst champion descendant in Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Complete joke. Literally would crouch and cower
okay,
away.
well, all right. Listen, I get it, but that's my boy though. Like,
well, he is a boy. Exactly. He needs to be a man.
Nah, I feel that. But even in that sense, out of here. Even in that sense, like I feel something's going on with the Gorons as a whole. We've only seen so many Gorons like in any of the trailers. It was, you know, pretty much the last trailer, right? And even in that sense, where we saw a Goron like, you know, roll up with Link, a Gerudo, and various Hylians. How do you feel about the whole like possible war dynamic that might be happening in Tears of the Kingdom? That's something I'm living for.
Yeah, no, it looks like, so I feel like Terry Town in Breath of the Wild was like a very light idea of what if we bring, certain characters together and then build something. And it seems like that with Tears of the Kingdom, that's going to be a huge objective from clearly Hyrule Castletown being rebuilt, because you can
Yep.
see tents, you can see. So I bet you, and also in the most recent trailer, the final one, you see Link escorting some Hylians on his horse that he made with his makeshift Ultra Hand, in one of the carriages, which I find really cool. But yeah, so you're probably gonna have to bring people from one side of Hyrule to the other, and I bet you they will eventually join Link in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. To the final battle, though, I'd be insane. It's like I can't imagine it being a full-on war, but I do imagine that there's going to be plenty of side missions and
Right, like side, like when I said war, I meant like side struggle, side battles that you're gonna have to band together and
100%.
yeah.
We literally saw Link with a group of all types of characters, and they're definitely gonna probably take on a outpost or something to claim it. I bet you that's what it's gonna be like.
Right. Nah, and now that you mentioned it, I am living for the possibility of the insinuation of side missions like this. Transporting people from a safe zone to from a not safe zone to a safe zone using the carriages and whatnot. Helping out people repel a possible invasions of bokoblins in a settlement and whatnot. I am living for that idea. And I've been saying that Breath of the Wild, one thing that I felt was really missing from Breath of the Wild was like a mission board. It's like a lot of other action adventure games and RPGs do it. Like imagine a mission board where it's like, hey, we need you to clear out these bokoblins from this camp in order for us to build a new house here. And I'm like, all right, cool, we did it. It's like, hey, thanks for clearing out these bokoblins. Now, if you can bring some materials here so we can build a new settlement here, now I really appreciate it. Okay, cool. Hey, we're gonna need some carpenters. Can you transport these 4 individuals from here to there? Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I bet you that will be a main thing. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it, and if that's not what it ends up becoming, that would suck. So hopefully
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I feel it in my bones, man. This game is gonna be gigantic, and considering how giant this game could be, here's a question for you. What's the first thing that you plan on doing once you get Tears of the Kingdom in your hand?
I honestly, I'm just excited to get used to the mechanics. I just want to build and mess around. I that's the problem with these games, because they're so fun to just explore the open world, that I know I'm gonna neglect the story, and I'm just gonna be having fun and seeing every area I can find in the sky, and try to find something really, really OP and in a place I shouldn't be by trying to reach some area that is probably end game, and see if I can get anything that will kind of help me early on.
Man, I don't even know what I would do. I mean, I've said it before that the first thing I'm probably gonna do when I play the game is probably check on areas to see how they've changed from Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom, see if my homies are okay.
True.
Right? And even at that sense, now that you brought it up, I'm like, I am fiending for the story, but at the same time, I want to be fusing some stuff. I want to be yo, after seeing some of the horns on certain enemies in the trailers, I'm like, okay, that one Lionel that seemed to have a katana looking horn. I'm like, all right, I need to find that Lionel, give it the business, and that thing is mine. I will fuse that to make a weapon, and that's my weapon. Give it to me.
Yeah, good luck taking it on early in the game, though.
Oh, I've done it before. I faced that Silver Lionel in Master Mode on the Great Plateau. I've done it. I can do it. Man, I ain't afraid.
Was it silver?
It was silver, yeah. It was a Silver Lionel.
At the beginning, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
True. I always ignored it. I just don't I don't want to waste my weapons. But
I gave him the business.
Use weapons and unfuse it before they break. It seems like you could really make use of things as long as you're actually not just letting it break immediately. But I do hope that kind of with the champion weapons, you can rebuild certain iconic weapons. You don't have to wait for each blood moon. I would love for there to be more blacksmiths, and just let me use a diamond, let me use a different weapon and combine them together,
right?
To make, because I do miss that. I miss having weapons mean something, because at the end of the day, if everything breaks, then the only thing that matters is the Master Sword. So
but hey, man, what if there's I feel one thing that will be the beauty of Tears of the Kingdom is how much we can make. I feel there's going to be a gargantuan amount of combinations in terms of like fusion with our weapons. So much so that even if they do break, you're always looking to the next horizon, the next enemy, the next piece that they're going to drop in order to like build something crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I guess with fusing, it will. A stick can even be badass because you can just use it with a rock or even another like actual weapon.
Yep.
So you're right,
man. But let's talk about those mechanics or the gameplay or whatever, because I'm pretty sure you've seen a good chunk of the previews, right?
Yep.
So what's the one thing that either is your favorite or stuck out to you the most when looking at these previews?
For me, it's just the insane scale of this game. Like, one thing that I feel like, with Breath of the Wild that I would always be blown away by is like when you wind bomb and you just kind of traverse. And you're like, man, I'm moving so fast. There's ground to cover, and it's like now we have that, but vertically, and then we can have actual vehicles that make the wind bomb technique seem completely useless because you can put propellers, you can put a rocket and just have it skyrocket across the sky. So to me, that's what impresses me most, because I just love open areas to explore, and just being able to do that from island to island in the sky is insane. Especially since it's not like with the Wind Waker, it kind of felt, when I first played the Wind Waker, I felt the same way. I'm like, well, once you reach that point in the game where the King of Red Lions no longer, forces you to follow a certain path and you're able to go wherever you want, it's like, holy crap, this is ridiculous. I can do whatever I want. Every little island I see from far away, I'm gonna go to, even if I can't do anything on it. It's like, now I can do that, but in the sky, and it's like, it's never ending, because I can be on an island, and instead of looking far away, I look above me, and there's another island right above me that I can explore. So yeah, for me, it's mainly the scale. I feel like that is what hypes me up the most.
Nice. I feel that. And, we thought Breath of the Wild was big, right? And, like, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be massive. And then, it's so funny because I keep bringing this up with all the podcasts and stuff I've been, like, on or hosted, where people have constantly tried to sandbag this game throughout the years, saying that, oh, it's the same Hyrule, meh, pass, boring. I'm like, listen, when they say the same Hyrule, they mean like it's a map you've seen before that they're building off of. It's not going to be one exactly the same. A lot of people really got that they misconstrue that so much. We're like, oh, it's the same one-to-one map, no changes. No, there's going to be massive changes, and I've already seen it to the point where when the Zelda team said this unfamiliar world of Hyrule, I'm like, yeah, we've been here before, but it's changed so much, and it's been like there's so much being added to it. It's going to be insane. The underground, the sky, the changes to the surface. Oh, y'all ain't seeing nothing yet. And the fact, what?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that the massive sky and still the massive unknown underground. Oh, this game is gonna be gigantic. It's like 3 times bigger or 2.5 bigger than the map of Breath of the Wild. It's gonna be crazy.
Yep. And another thing, it's like what I was gonna add to that is, the Hyrule we got in Breath of the Wild, while it was huge, it was barren, and it's like, it would be a shame for Nintendo just to move on from that. Like, now clearly we're going to be rebuilding areas, we're going to have more reason to even explore certain places that were completely useless in Breath of the Wild. So that alone, without them expanding on Hyrule, should also be something to look forward to. They're actually going to make this giant world have more use, so I really do hope that like most of the settlements that have been destroyed can be restored, because I'm really hoping it's not all post-apocalyptic like how Breath of the Wild was.
Right.
But with the sky and then the underground alone, that will be enough, even if most of Hyrule is destroyed. But yeah, hopefully they kind of make use of like all the neglected areas throughout Breath of the Wild, and they have more purpose in the sequel. Right.
I definitely feel that. And I would love to rebuild Hyrule as much as we can, because that's the note we kind of left off on in Breath of the Wild. And that, with Tarrey Town, that was just the beginning. And I feel that, rebuilding like Hyrule as much as we can in Tears of the Kingdom will be great. And at the same time, I feel that there's going to be like a whole essence of like, clearing out enemy encampments, so that when you do rebuild stuff, you have to make sure that they don't come and mess it all up, right? So,
oh my god, that'd be insane. Imagine, like before a Blood Moon, you have to like come back to your base or something, or to like a town, or it will get destroyed because the enemies will respawn. That'd be so cool.
Exactly, right? Like you have to build a wall around it. You have to make sure they don't respawn there or whatever, or weaken the power of the Blood Moon or weaken the power of Mouse. I mean, like maybe at the same time, you know, kind of like in other RPGs, you know how there's constantly, how in the trailers we've seen like pools and puddles of malice like all over Hyrule now? Like maybe if we clear those up, then enemies are less susceptible to be stronger or even come to those zones, right?
Yeah.
So that's like kind of like what they're feeding off of, and they're like, oh, if you clear this up, they won't hang around here anymore, and then you're free to build, you're free to like, you know, restore this area. But just thinking about everything we're gonna be able to do, and that's not even counting like, you know, the main story. And I feel the main story is going to be quite a big, massive one. I was talking with Austin not too long ago, and he was like saying, how would you feel if like Tears of the Kingdom did not exactly, but similar to that of Breath of the Wild, where the main dungeons is only going to be limited to 4? And I'm like, I don't think it's going to be limited to 4, because we're going to be dealing with 7 or 8 tiers, and I feel that's going to reflect the number of like main story dungeons, right? And how do you feel about that?
I see. I can see where he's coming from, because Link is not going to keep the tiers for himself. So let's say Zelda's already given a tier. Let's say someone else is given a tier, and then Link has to retrieve the other ones for the champion descendants. Maybe he will only do that, because it would be weird for Nintendo to give us dungeons that have, you know, like partners with you, kind of like what we see Sidon and Tulin do, and then have dungeons where you do solo. But I would love that, and I hope they do that.
Please.
Yeah, but like if they were to only give us 4, they better make them worthwhile. And they're better, like whatever replaces shrines, like it better not be as simplistic and, you know, keep the same theming that shrines had. I didn't like how every shrine, no matter which area you were, even if you were doing different kind of puzzles, they were all the same blue aesthetic, you know, futuristic Sheikah look. Like give us caves, give us things that actually alter like that experience and make it seem slightly diverse.
But we are, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but we don't know what the main objective, or like even what the 120 puzzles will be.
Oh, that, yeah. No, I think it's gonna be Zonai shrines. So like
green lit shrines?
Yeah, it's gonna be green. Come on, you like the color green.
I do. I mean, I love it, but like, come on, give us some, like, if it's gonna be
no. You out here trying to stand Team Courage. I saw you with that Splatoon post. You chose green, and you are gonna like it. All right. Listen, I'm out here like, yo, where's my Malice shrines, man? Where are my red shrines at? That's what I want to know.
We've seen plenty of Blood Moon. I mean, the game literally turns red. So.
Yeah. But yeah. So I saw you're going Team Courage, huh?
I literally have a Triforce of Courage tattooed on
me. I know. Yes. Courage scum. And like, I'm gonna be laughing when Power wins.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if Power wins, because I feel like most people would pick Power because it does seem badass. But it's like, if you believe in the hero, man, you gotta pick Courage.
I don't. I don't believe in the hero. There's a whole timeline in existence due to the hero not doing it.
Because you do dress up like a villain, bro, not a hero. So I see that.
Oh man, yo, Power for life. But now that Splatoon event is gonna be fun. Did you order a shirt or not?
I don't think I got a chance. Are they still selling it? Oh, no, I'm definitely gonna get encouraged. Hopefully, it will come in before it starts.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know about before, because like they went on sale a while ago, and people are just starting to get theirs, right? And it's from Nintendo New York, NYC. So like you just order from there and they ship it to your house. So like
that's cool. I didn't even know you could do that. So I'll definitely pick one up. At least Courage.
Oh yeah.
Screw Power.
Wow. Wow. All right, I see.
I have to represent with the hero, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm literally for life. I'm tatted with it.
Tatted. Oh man, no, I love all 3, but Power though. Let's talk about that for a little bit. You know, like even with the promotion, with Splatoon, and the fact that Ganondorf is finally back with completing the trinity of Link, Zelda, Ganondorf. Do you believe that the Triforce is finally going to like be a thing in Tears of the Kingdom? And before people say it in the chats, I'm like, yes, I understand the shape and symbol on the back of Zelda's hand. No, I don't think it's the Triforce, right? Even creating champions are like, we don't know, right? So what do you think? Do you think the Triforce will actually have a cohesive element to Tears of the Kingdom story?
Yes, because Ganon, I mean, unless somehow Ganon is now tier hungry and that's all he wants. That's Ganon's objective in every game.
Exactly.
So yeah, if he's not, thirsting after that, then I don't know what happened to him.
Yep. He lost sight of who he is. I really think he's going to be getting the tears in order to get powerful enough to be like, okay, now I can get the Triforce and no one can stop me. All right. Yeah. So it's like it's power before power type thing, Yeah. But how about this in this sense? Like the fact that Ganondorf is still alive. All right. There's two things to this question because the scene got reworked because like in the original scene that we saw in the first trailer, which makes sense because the game was still in development, right? Ganondorf did not have a tear on his forehead in his forehead crown thing, whatever. But in the updated scene that we saw in the second to last trailer, when he wakes up, he does have, you can see if you focus the camera, you see that he does have a tear and it's gray like in one of his splash arts. And then in the final trailer, he's using the tear and it's turning red and he's activating it and it's like, oh, right? So do you think that it was that tear that he's apparently had this whole time that was keeping him alive, or that he still has the Triforce of power at this point in time?
No, he must have I feel like he definitely has the Triforce of power, or if not, it's okay, so I know what you're talking about. In the very first trailer, I don't know, maybe Nintendo retconned some of it, or it was...
Yeah, it was a retcon, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably beta footage, because whatever was on his forehead seemed like it didn't even look like a tear could be placed there. It was just a giant orange crystal, right?
Yeah, so
Nintendo rethought that idea, and we're gonna make tears the main thing, and yeah, I don't know actually.
Yep. Hey, Nova Ray, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Warning: the collector's edition has been leaked. Oh, it's begun.
Oh yeah. The
physical
art for it, I've already seen.
No,
something.
Apparently not that. Apparently the collector's edition box, someone has the whole thing.
No,
right
I know.
now.
I've seen the back of the box just now. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, really? Yo, I'm about to look on Twitter right now. Shit. Man.
I can send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. Send it to me. Okay. All right, so yeah, guys, bunker down. It's time. Yeah. Let me see it. Oh, that's so cool. Wait, that's the box? That's new. Wow, that's new. That's
definitely not what we thought it was. I mean, we already assumed whatever was done. I mean, it looks like he.
Yeah, no, wait, I don't think we should talk about this.
We shouldn't talk about it, but I already know what happened. This scene explains what happened and maybe how Ganon got. You know what?
Yep. Yeah, let's just stop. Whoa, that's cool. All right. Yeah, so apparently someone has it in the wild. SpaghettiOs. But in that sense, when it comes to Ganondorf, Zelda, and Link and whatnot, I want to hear your thoughts really quick on how do you think the Zonai is connected to all of this? Just your thoughts. It doesn't have to be something that's going to be turned out right. You don't have to try and crack the code, but what are you thinking?
So for me, it's just generally how the Zonai are connected. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So it's how do you think the Zonai fit in the grand scheme of things?
Okay.
So far.
So I feel like with the Sheikah, they kind of took over the Triforce of Wisdom's, role, and they made all of their, tech. And it's literally, when you think about its tech, it makes sense that they would use Wisdom, and that's why it's blue. And I feel like why Link is lacking the Triforce of Courage in general is because the Zonai probably used its power. Not necessarily used its power, but they kind of reflected as the people of courage. Plus, they come from Faron. So I feel like, in general, that whole concept of Faron being just ruins now, they were the ancient civilization. They're probably what the original hero was, instead of just being Hylian, he grew up in Faron in the Zonai. So they're just finally coming back, and they're giving what Link needed, because Link was lacking that, and I feel like that's the main reason why he couldn't pull his way in Breath of the Wild, because Link has never reached that point of almost dying, because he never had, he was literally missing something he, was destined to have. So I feel like the Zonai will correct that this time, and that's why Link is finally linking up with them.
Nice. I feel that too, but taking over the whole aspect of the Sheikah's role with Wisdom, I feel I'm in the camp that the Zonai is like the tribe of courage. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So like Chica was wisdom, Zonai is courage for sure. That's what. Yeah. That's
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I'm.
Yeah. So like in that sense, do you think there's gonna like if we're ever gonna get applied like a tribe of power? Do you think at any point?
I feel like the new tribe of power is the Yiga, but I don't believe there ever will be because they're evil and like none of them will ever serve Hyrule. Like the Gerudo would have been the closest thing to it, but they absolutely hate Ganondorf. So
yeah. Oh, let's talk about that. All right, no, go on.
That's it.
Oh, let's talk about that. Do you believe, like, because I really hope Nintendo doesn't glance over this, just like, oh, I don't want like Reggie to be like Ganondorf, and then that's it. It's like, oh, you're my great granddaughter, whatever. No, do you think there will be a power struggle between that of the two crowns that are being held by the Gerudo? Ganondorf, his birthright, and then Riju, who's the current chief of the Gerudo. Do you think there's gonna be a power struggle?
So hilarious. Nah, I don't.
No, don't say that, Yugi.
Won't step foot in Gerudo that way or try to reclaim him because he had long abandoned that in Ocarina of Time when he chose to be the Demon King.
Yeah, but still,
he's not a Gerudo King anymore. He at least reps the jewelry, but
yeah, and he has the tattoo, and he has all the stuff. And
he was born as one, like he his origins, but. Nah, bro, the dude's been alive for so long. Now he just wants to conquer all of Hyrule. Gerudo ain't enough.
Exactly. But he's gonna need an army. He's gonna need the Gerudo. He's gonna need the Yiga. He's gonna need the monsters. He's in it to win it. And then I feel like I really hope there's at least a scene that like talks about that to a bit of extent, because I mean technically Riju and Urbosa have the Gerudo crown, right? That big extravagant thing that is on their hair, but Ganondorf, what's on his head is like, I want to assume that's the original crown that they obviously they couldn't get back because it's like it was lost with Ganondorf, so they made like a Gen 2 crown after that, but Ganondorf is like, nah, this on my fort, this is the original, you bow to this,
yeah,
please, Nintendo.
I would love for there to be interaction like that, but Nintendo usually
no balls. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just being practical. I'm not trying.
I know. Yeah.
I would love to see. I would love for Ganondorf to interact with each tribe to do some crazy stuff. But it's I feel like the dude's just gonna be sitting there waiting, for the big battle.
Yeah. Nah, I don't want him waiting. We've already seen that, and I feel like Ganondorf is way more pissed than he's ever been. So I hope that Ganondorf takes a more proactive approach this time around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh boy. But do we have any final thoughts when it comes to wrapping up this episode of The Fifth Dimension? Because we've talked about a lot, and at the same time, I'm starting to get a little fidgety now that the collector's edition is just like, oh man, this could literally get dumped at any time. But so we have any final, let's talk about this. All right, this is gonna be the final word of today's stream. When it comes to the specific parts of the world that we've seen, when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, the familiar parts of Hyrule, the sky, the underground, I've had this question multiple times to other people. What portion, and it could be a specific portion on the surface too, it doesn't have to be the entire surface. What specific portion of this game's new world are you excited for the most?
Definitely. Well, outside of Hyrule Castle, because probably everyone's main point of interest. Would it be this? I mean, in the sky. I mean, I definitely revisit every other place in Hyrule and see what's happened. But nah, man, the sky definitely is the real meat and potatoes of this game. I'm just so hyped. And even though we've seen a lot of it from the previews, we've really seen nothing. Let's be real.
Oh no, we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But in my sense, I feel sure, a lot of people's hyped up for the sky, and then going to the sky and all that stuff is really, really cool. I keep saying this, it's the underground, man. It's the underground for me. That's what I'm excited for. Then
same. I'm afraid it's because it's naturally so dark. No, but we saw the Death Mountain portion. Maybe, well, it'd be so dope if for each region there's an underground portion, and you get to see water caves and waterfalls that go below surface. In Zora's Domain, that'd be amazing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, or what's under the Zonai ruins. I'm assuming specifically the Zonai ruins must
In
have been
Faron, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because if everything has like if the skies did rise up from underground or from Hyrule surface, then there's going to be a lot of empty, just gaps within Hyrule surface. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But
What I'm most excited for is I doubt we're gonna get any. I would see one thing I would love to see though outside of all of that is like I miss Link having a companion or Ganondorf having a henchman. We need something like that, and it better not be Master Koga or anything.
Koga's dead.
Hear him. Bring back something like that.
Yo. You know who's gonna be Ganondorf's henchman? You know who's gonna be Ganondorf's henchman? Kilton.
Bro, that dude will just get destroyed in one.
Nah, that's his butler. That's gonna be his butler.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yes, Lord Ganondorf.
Yeah, he does fit that stereotype.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna.
That'd be a huge backstab. Like Link helped him with all these medallions and study, the monsters, and now he's serving. I mean, it would make sense. So he'd probably go on Ganondorf's side in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Creates these monsters that he's obsessing over.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna happen. I'm telling you. Remember the stream. All right.
That would be hilarious.
Oh yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for coming out to the stream, and once again, big thank you to my boy Zelda Master Luke for being here, man. Thank you so much. Let them know where they can find you, man.
Search Zelda Master or Zelda Master Luke, and hopefully you'll find me anywhere. Twitter, YouTube, mainly YouTube.
All right, guys, and you already know this has been your boy HMK and the Fifth Dimension, and we shall continue the show, the road, the hype leading into the release, which is 2 weeks away. So I'll see you guys next time for the next week episode of the Fifth Dimension. I'll check you guys later.